Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Early Edge, brought to you by BetMGM, the sports book born in Vegas. Well, it's the day you've all been waiting for. Maction is back, and great recap screens are back, too. Let's take a look at what we did. Buckets, I mean, calling his shot. He said it. I'm going to go 3-0 today, and he went 3-0 yesterday. I'm the only one who brought this recap screen down. The SportsLine picks were amazing. Larry, Proppy, Will Brinson, again, Buckets. I lose my Rachaad White play, but don't forget, on the Early Edge primetime, I had Rachaad White at plus 1,400 as your first touchdown score. So hopefully you all cashed that as well. But again, we can't do a great recap screen without great cappers. So let's go ahead and bring in the stars of the show. It's kind of a sleepy slate today. So we're just kind of seeing what we can find maybe in the coming days, but also today. Zack, I mentioned we've got Maction back. Ken's, I'll come to you in a second because I'm just curious the jealousy meter on me picking up a gem. But Buckets, I got to lead with you because it's not often that you call your shot, but it seems like every time you do, it hits. You said yesterday you loved the slate. You were going to see 3 green check marks. Your response to going 3-0.
Sia, I'm going to be a little devious today and say that I like the slate today, possibly even more than yesterday. So just consider that when I get into my 2 picks later here on the show.
That's incredible. Zack, are you happy to have Maction back?
It's there today. Let me just say that it's there today. I actually like the Conference USA. I hope they extend that an extra week or 2. Those games were pretty good. They're on CBS Sports as well. So, but to Monday night's game yesterday, that was a prop haven game. You didn't expect that with all the injuries for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They threw some low props out there. K-Dot and Sterling Shepard. Even on the other side, with DeAndre Hopkins now part of the Chiefs, there was prop haven to be had in that game. So it should be interesting to see how those adjust next week.
It's so true. Mackenzie, DeAndre Hopkins showing out. Travis Kelce just gobbling up catches like prop stars and many others said he would. K-Dot, and the only prop that didn't go over was mine, frankly. Rachaad White, they just didn't want to give him carries. They didn't want to give him touches. Sean Tucker getting in there, Bucky Irving perfectly healthy, it appears, and was just dominating touches. Your response to yesterday's finish, can I ask you, would you, if you were Todd Bowles, would you have gone for 2 when the Tampa Bay Buccaneers tied it up?
I'd say yes, and I'm going to leave it there. And what I want to talk about, Sia, is you getting another gem. I know I wasn't on the show yesterday, but I'm really falling behind here. And the issue is I have a lot of reps on that show, and I really should have a gem on the board, but we keep getting hosed with under 10-1. It's disrespectful.
That's true, actually. Zack, go ahead. I thought you had something to say.
Yeah, that 2-point conversion. I'm not a fan of doing that. I mean, we saw the Philadelphia Eagles do it 3 times, weren't able to do it. The New York Giants 2 times, weren't able to do it. Tampa Bay had the ball on the 1-yard line. They didn't get in the first time. They had to do it on second down. So it's just too risky. You're a 4-3 team. You're at home. You just marched down the field. And that was more improbable in my opinion. So why not try to take it to overtime with the extra point?
So here's my pushback, and we'll put a pin in it there, and Buckets, we'll get to your 2 soccer picks. But my pushback is this. Historically, every time the Chiefs win an overtime toss, they win the game. They score a touchdown. I mean, I'm not saying it's 100% chance, but it's a higher percentage than probably any other team in the league. So you got the Chiefs at home, and you're basically leaning on the fact that they're not going to win the coin toss. And you've got a kind of a worn down defense. You got a chance from the 3-yard line to win the game. I just don't want to leave it to a coin flip. Any other team not named the Chiefs, I'm willing to go to the coin toss thing and maybe keep them out of the end zone after their first drive. But the Chiefs is just that team where I'm like, I can't go to heads or tails here, because if I get it wrong, I'm going to lose the game. I'm not even going to touch the ball. So that's where I stand there. But Buckets, I know you're confused by all this football talk. So let's go to the football that you know how to talk about. Coming off a 3-0 day, let's see if we can make it 5-0 in 2 days.
Let's do it, Sia. And just for the record, if I was Tim Bowl, I would also go for 2. I'm with Kins on this one. Now let's jump into some. Got you. Let's talk about some Champions League. Let's talk about some stuff that really matters today. Let's talk about PSV Eindhoven hosting Girona. And I know what we're all thinking. Buckets, PSV has been terrible in European competitions. There is no way you're backing them, right? And before you yell at me, just know that I am backing them, because it's not about how good PSV is. It's about how injury-riddled Girona is. Right now, if you remember those big old, Walgreens or CVS receipts that are a mile long. That is how many injuries Girona currently has. They are missing Christian Portu, Victor Gankov, Jasper Asparilla, Abel Ruiz, Pau Lopez, Arnott Danjuma, Alejandro Francis. They are missing basically half their team right now. So PSV doesn't even have to play good to win this game. They just have to play average. And PSV is good enough to play average, which means I'm on that money line at minus 125 every single time. Second bet. Now, listen, I know that everyone's very stressed today. I know that it's a very busy day. It's a very big day here, but we all have to make this important decision together. I hate getting serious, but we have to talk about this. We all have to vote and decide if we still want to bet Manchester City with our hard-earned money, because I am tired of it, frankly. This Manchester City side is not the dominant team we've seen over recent years. So when I see Sporting at home, double chance, minus 120, I'm playing that every time, baby. They're missing Rodri right now for Manchester City, and I follow a billion accounts on social media and noticed that Erling Haaland picked up a training injury as well earlier this week, so he might not even be in this fixture. I think Sporting could win this outright, but I will take them double chance at home anytime I get playable odds. Sia, 2-0 for me tomorrow. Calling my shot now.
All right, 2-0 for buckets. Love to hear that. A lot of questions in the chat, by the way. And yes, I am the all-time leader in gems. Let me answer that very important question. And if you all in the chat can maybe let everyone else know how many gems I got last year. If you get the right answer, maybe I'll have some. If we can get a few right answers and a few like button hits, you know what? We got a golf tournament this week. I'll bring first-round leaders to the show tomorrow and maybe a couple of outrights as well. And you can bet all of those at BetMGM. New BetMGM customers can sign up today and get up to $1,500 in bonus bets. Just place your first wager of at least $10, and you'll receive up to $1,500 instantly if your bet loses with bonus code EDGE. That's bonus code EDGE, E-D-G-E. All right. Joe Neuenfeld says, I say 6. Mackenzie Brooks, do you know how many I got last year?
I don't think I do. I don't know if it was 6. I feel like it was 5.
Oh, that's incorrect. Joe was correct. Thank you, Joe. Greener was correct. He says 6 as well. It was, in fact, 6. The March to 6 started yesterday, and I hope to catch fire. But, Mackenzie, you are right. A lot of the first touchdown scores have been shorter than 10-1. So, like, none of us are getting gems when that happens, obviously, because we're trying to go swing a little bit for the triples and the home runs as opposed to the singles when it comes to that. All right. Speaking of football, we got to get to some action, some props, some sides, some totals, and a golf bet as well. We'll do it right after this message from our partners.
Baby, we are gonna start a fire.
From world-renowned clubs
Simply devastating.
to worldwide stars.
Wrexham have done it. This incredible ride continues.
The English Football League on CBS Sports Network, and stream every match live on Paramount Plus.
We're back on the Early Edge, brought to you by BetMGM, the sportsbook born in Vegas. Buckets, Jeff Sternberg. I keep saying Sternberg. It's Stenberg, isn't it? That's on me. He says, Buckets, how do we feel about Wednesday, Norwich, both teams to score minus 125?
Buckets, how do we feel about Wednesday, Norwich, both teams to score? I like it. I like it a lot. You confused me with the word Wednesday. I forget that that's just a name of a team playing in the championship. So I was like, what's today? Tuesday? No, I love it. Absolutely. Norwich on the road is very susceptible to goals. They are very leaky. And Sheffield Wednesday are already in a position in the championship where they got to go for goals. So BTTS is a fantastic look, Jeff.
Yeah, I also was confused by that question. So Wednesday, that's a weird name for a team, in my opinion. All right, Kens, let's go to Maction. We've got a couple of picks, one from Zack and one from you. You're looking at the prop market. What's the play?
Yeah, this is huge. Return of the Mac. Zack didn't seem to be as excited as I am, but this is what separates the men from the boys, the women for the girls. Player props in the Mac on a Tuesday. Dare I say, 2-leg player prop alt parlays on a Tuesday for plus 120. We're looking at 2 legs here, both sides of the ball. We're going to go Braden Sloan, alt 40-plus rushing yards. Now, the one thing Ball State can do well, and I can count on, is for them to run the ball on the ground. So 40-plus rushing yards should not be anything crazy for Sloan here. He's hit this in 4 of his last 5. This is an above-average running FBS team. It's really all you need to know. We're going for the alt line here. Then we're going to go Cade McDonald, over 40 receiving yards. Now, Ball State's defense, for those of you who don't know, is abysmal. It's just not there in general. So really anybody can probably hit their receiving yard total over him. We have him projected for 52. So again, 40 plus receiving yards feels like a safe bet. He's hit this in 6 of his last 8. And now we're going up against Ball State, one of the worst defenses in the MAC. I think he can hit that as well. So that pays out a little 2-legger for plus 120 here. I do like both of these individually, but I just like a little alt line parlay. We'll be back to the NBA probably next Tuesday. So had to get creative all we could in the action.
I love all of this. A Tuesday night action alt line player prop parlay is listen, we're digging deep here because it is kind of a light slate. And that's why my pick is for the Worldwide Technology Championship. Yes, that's a mouthful. They should probably change that name. The WWT, if you will. It's over in Mexico. It starts Thursday morning. So I'm going to give out a pick today. And again, let's get those like button hits. I will give out some first round leaders and maybe a couple of outrights that I like tomorrow as well. I'm going to the nationality market. I'm going top Asian Rico Hoey at plus 180. Keep this plus 180 this number in mind, because these are some of those plays. Sometimes when we do the 3 balls where I get like a plus 180 winner, sometimes I'm only betting a half a unit to basically win close to a full unit here. So it's up to you what you want to bet here, but just keep that in mind. It's something you can do with a number this high. The other Asians in the market at the WWT are Sung-Yul No, KH Lee, SH Kim, and Carl Yuan. I don't think Carl Yuan is going to compete really with the other 4 here, and that includes Rico Hoey. As far as SH Kim, he's a bad ball striker. He's really good with the putter. Rico Hoey's kind of good on both ends. KH Lee, he's good with the approach play. He's good with the putter, but he hasn't been as good as Rico Hoey. And then Sung-Yul No, good ball striker. He just can't putt. So when I'm looking at the plus 180, yes, this is one of those tournaments that's kind of a birdie fest. And a lot of these names that are kind of lower names that Rico Hoey is going against can pop, but over 4 rounds, and I expect Rico Hoey to play 4 rounds. I think he has the game to beat all of these guys. So I think plus 180 is a very, very fair number. Give me Rico Hoey, top Asian at the Worldwide Technology Championship starting Thursday morning. Buckets, go ahead.
See, I just got a question for you. For that bet, if I were to hypothetically go into some sort of like showdown format against you, does that mean that I get the other 4 people competing in this and you just get the top guy? How would that work hypothetically? That is what you would get. The problem that I would face with that is that I'm taking a plus 180. So you are getting I don't have a problem with that though.
You know what, Buckets? I respect this move. I'm not going to back down from a showdown. And you've given me some before where the odds have been stacked against you. So are you challenging me to a showdown on top nationality at the Worldwide Technology Championship, Rico Hoey plus 180?
I don't know what you said, but yes, I am. Jake.
Tuesday on
It's gonna be a showdown.
See, this is Tuesday on the early edge. You just never know what you're going to get. You're also going to get Danny Brasco in the chat, and you're also going to get some more action. Zack, you've got to play Bowling Green, Central Michigan. It's a pretty hefty spread. What's the play? The dog?
Yeah, it's going to be the dog, but I do want to say I did misspoke. I meant to say Tempe's on the road, kicked the extra point. I think I said home, but I wanted to throw that in there. Surprised nobody caught that. But I'm going with Central Michigan plus 14, the home dog against Bowling Green. I do want to say it's a very light sports day. We all know the reason why. No NBA. They played a full slate yesterday. College basketball, I was going to die for a play, but we had 190 games yesterday. That was the day to do so. So this is more of a lean, more of a wagertainment game. Have a few bucks on it, but I'm going to take Central Michigan. Based on the line move, this line opened at 9.5, jumped all the way to 14 points. Why? Central Michigan's lost 3 straight. They're getting almost next to nothing at the quarterback play, but there's also a driven up market on this Bowling Green team. They went on the road early in the season against Penn State and Texas A&M, pushed both of those teams, lost by less than a touchdown. We know when Connor Bazelak's on the field, his 6th year in college football, there's also a driven up market on him. Started his career at Missouri in the SEC, also played a year at Indiana. So this Bowling Green team has inflation tied to it. This is the first week of action. We all know the unpredictability with that. And then you check the forecast. There's rain all day long in Mount Pleasant, Michigan. It's going to be rainy conditions. I think we could see a lower scoring type of game, maybe a turnover or 2 on Bowling Green's side that can play to our hand here, giving so many points. So I'm going to take Central Michigan, the home dog here, plus the 14.
I certainly like the weather angle here too, Zach, with Central Michigan trying to rush the ball. Samuel Gallego says, how can you not bet on a team named the Chippewas? Also, I'm sure that factored into your argument as well, Zach, because it is a pretty cool name. Real quick, Buckets, I know there were some soccer questions and comments in the chat. Now that you've come down off of the Showdown Challenge, anything you need to answer or respond to?
There's just a lot today because we do have Champions League fixtures. So we've got like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 Champions League games today. I would just give advice on you don't have to bet all of them. Kind of pick and choose the lines you like. Don't try to force it just because there is good content. And remember, sometimes when you see really good teams play each other, like Liverpool and Leverkusen, everyone wants to bet the over, but a lot of those games end up being very cagey. So just be careful on some of those bigger games. Maybe look for live bets rather than the pre-match ones.
And Mackenzie, I saw you in the chat here and there. Was there anything you needed to respond to as well?
Nothing I haven't addressed. Just the kids talking Maction as we should. Happy Tuesday.
Happy Tuesday. All right. Zach, and anything else we left that you needed to touch upon?
We were talking about crazy scenarios in football. I've got to bring up anyone that watched Baylor TCU this weekend. Probably the craziest decision. 4th and 9, 17 seconds left on like the 44-yard line. I'm like, oh, for sure, they're going to punt and go to overtime. He goes for it and gets it. But if you don't get that, I think that was the craziest decision because TCU just tied the game. I want to hear comments on that and thoughts on that. I would have not went for that at all.
That is very interesting. Kind of crazy. It sounds like a coach that's comfortable with his job or frankly just doesn't care. But either way, exciting stuff. Brad Morris has some NHL bets if you all want to check them out. He's in the chat. If you all have bets in the chat, throw them in there. Some of you are obviously very, very sharp. You've been in here a long time. Looks like Brad likes the Ottawa Senators money line, the Winnipeg Jets 60-minute money line, and Winnipeg team total over 3.5. So check all of those bets out if you want some hockey action. And again, it was a light slate today. So this is a kind of a weird day for obvious reasons, but the slates will get kind of more interesting, if you will, and certainly more full as we head closer to the week. There'll be a lot more football content as well. Let's take a look at the recap screen before we get out of here. Let's see. I'm going to go to Buckets picks first. Sports, because I wanted to make sure I could pronounce these. He's left it easy for me, or maybe Jake just shortened stuff for me. Buckets plays are Sporting double chance -120 and PSV moneyline -125. My bet doesn't start until Thursday morning. Top Asian Rico Hoey at +180 in the Worldwide Technology Championship. Mackenzie Brooks, Braden Sloan 40+ rushing yards, and Cade McDonald 40+ receiving yards. That's a parlay at +120. And Zack Cimini, Maction as well. Central Michigan tonight, +14, -112. Well, ladies and gentlemen, let's have a great Tuesday. Let's try not to be too anxious about things. Let's stay positive. Maybe listen to a great song or get yourself in the right mood, because today's kind of a finicky day for obvious reasons. But hopefully we cash some bets. Great recap screen yesterday. We absolutely love to see it. We needed that bounce back from the Friday and Sunday before, and we got it. We've been on a nice little run over the last 4 or 5 days. Let's try to keep it up today on a Tuesday. On behalf of Zach, Mackenzie Brooks, Buckets, Jake the Snake on the 1s and 2s and 3s and 4s, this is the Early Edge. I'm the Counselor of Cash. We rest our case.